Hey, running friends. Welcome to the Wrinkled Runner podcast. I'm Sherry, the Wrinkled Runner. I'm over 50 and I love to run wherever I go, but Buffalo, New York is my home. If you are looking to start to run or you're an older runner, this podcast is especially for you, so subscribe now. I love to help people get running and keep running.
Okay, guys, welcome to another week of starting to run. I am going over the RRCA Start to Run program. For those of you who may be just popping in, we are on week 5, which is a 5-minute run and a 1-minute walk. So if you haven't been joining us and you are just beginning to run or you want to learn to run, please go back and listen to the introductory podcast from January 3rd, I believe it is, first week of January, and then start in with week 1. And I promise you, you will be here before you know it. If you ask some of these people who have been joining me over the past few weeks, you jump up pretty quickly. And today's run is going to be challenging. So for those of you who have been joining me, welcome back. And we are going to start our 5-minute warm-up. If I can get my jacket up. And, you know, January is a great time that people make their resolutions to start to run. But, yeah, it's really cold. So I feel for those of you who are starting to run and you are in a cold climate and you don't have access to a treadmill. So we are starting our 5-minute warm-up. And if you have been paying attention to the homework, you know that I am not telling you anymore what to do for your warm-up. That is in your control and in your hands. Now, for some of you, if you'd like, you can just walk for your 5-minute warm-up. That's what I'm doing, is I'm walking for the 5 minutes, and I'm out and about already, so I am actually really cold. I do like to do these warm-ups, a lot of the warm-ups and a lot of the drills inside before I head out the door in the wintertime, just so that I can warm up my body. But I had a shovel this morning, and that was sort of my warm-up, but you certainly didn't want to listen to that as I was doing that. So I'm walking my 5 minutes, and then we will get started with a 5-minute run, and then a 1-minute rest. And I'm sorry, I kind of flubbed this morning. You have about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I know I told you I was going to give you 1-minute warnings in between each thing that you may be doing, and I apologize for messing that up on you if that is the case. But we have 3 minutes and about 20 seconds left before we're going to get out the door and start that 5-minute run. I'm hoping that you guys did your homework and that you are starting to feel stronger, that by the end of last week, that 4-minute run, 1-minute rest felt easier to you than in the beginning of the week. Like I said, the center part right here is, it can be tough, and then it'll start to feel a little easier again. But then after that, you know, it sounds daunting that you're going to be running for 30 minutes straight in about 5 weeks. But you're going to get there, and just keep it up and stay disciplined and stay motivated. So you have about 2 minutes and 30 seconds before we're going out, or on a treadmill or whatever it is that wherever you run, however you run, we'll be doing that. And let me tell you, my hands are so cold, even though I'm wearing gloves right now. I actually can't wait to get to the running part so that I can warm up a little bit, because it is bitter out here. Oh, Buffalo. I don't know why. I always tell people I was born in Buffalo. I was raised in Buffalo. Buffalo's always been my home, except for a short period of time that I lived in Japan and then in Shanghai, China for a little bit. But I think I should have been born like in Arizona or Florida because I have never liked the cold. I've never been like a skier or anything like that. I do run out here no matter what, but when I'm not, 1 minute and 30 seconds left. But it's just not my favorite thing. I'd rather be hot. So for those of you who are running somewhere that it's nice and warm, you are so lucky. My daughter lived in Antigua, an island in the Caribbean, for a while. And oh my gosh, I used to love going there. It'd be 80 degrees and I'd be running, and it felt so good. But I know that's not for everybody. So most people that I know like to run cool. So, all right, 1 minute left, and then we're going to start our 5-minute run. And again, we're going to make sure that we are feeling good, that even if it feels hard, that you are feeling strong, and that you are not feeling like you are injured in any way, that there is not pain when you are running. Now is the time that things that are called overuse injuries, like I talked about a few weeks ago, may start to happen if you haven't felt them before. It's tightness maybe in your calves. It's your Achilles tendon hurting. It can be plantar fasciitis. There are different things that can happen and go on when you are starting to run that indicate an overuse injury. And if you are starting to feel what we in the running world call niggles, okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, run, 5 minutes. Then I want you to pull back a bit as far as how many times a week you run. And if you really are feeling injured, not just like sore, then I want you to go back to, like if today you're starting to feel that, I want you to go back to before 1 for a few more days until that's starting to ease up a bit, because keeping you from injury is what is important. Because, you know, if you run through injuries, you're going to get injured more than just having to be able to rest a few days. You can get injuries that are really, really bad and can take you out for weeks or months. My husband, he fell off a ladder, and not sure if I told you guys this, and he ruptured his Achilles tendon clean in half. And so it's going to be a long time before he is able to run again. And he is really feeling the despondency, maybe is the word, of not being able to be active. And even though his was not a running injury, runners have been known to rupture their Achilles tendon. And so you do need to take care of yourself. And as I've said a million times before, listen to your body. Know your body. Know your running and what you can and cannot do. I am definitely more of a conservative coach, where I'm going to tell you to take it easy more often than I'm going to tell you to push. Push it's not going to be good for you. And you can end up with all sorts of issues. So, you know, if you're someone who responds to that, I guess, then maybe you don't want to listen to me because I'm definitely more apt to tell you to take it easy and to rest than I am to tell you to just keep going. But I can't really recommend anyone who's going to tell you to push, because I just don't think that's safe. I don't think that's good coaching. So I will always tell you to take it easy and take a rest day, especially for those of us who are older. We may need it just so that we can keep on with our running. Okay, so I promised last week that I was going to go into the top 10 YouTube videos that was from 2022 from my channel over at Wrinkled Runner on YouTube. So I'm just going to quickly go through those. I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's just a resource for you if there's something that you might be interested in watching over there. And if you've only been listening to me and you want to see what I look like, then you can go to the YouTube channel and see what I look like. So the top, I'm going to go backwards. So the 10th one was the top 10 videos of 2021. And for some reason, people really like lists. Like if you're a blogger or a YouTuber or whatever, that's one of the things that you'll learn is people like lists and they like numbers. So, when you see a blogger or a YouTuber saying, here are the top 7 ways that you can make money, whatever. It's because it actually works. People respond to that. And so I'm certainly not going to list all the top videos from 2021, but that was the 10th most popular video of the channel. The next one was whole wheat bread. And this bread, let me tell you, if you like kind of a chewy, soft bread, okay, we're going to walk for 1 minute. If you like a chewy, soft bread, this recipe was and is so good. I still make it for my sandwiches. The crumb on this, I just can't get over it. It's truly a really good recipe. And if you haven't, if you don't think you like whole wheat bread, go ahead and try this just once. Just try the recipe. Just see what you think, because it really is a very tasty whole wheat bread. And I had done a series on YouTube for nutrition for the runner, different things that we need, and whole wheat bread, this was one of the recipes that I use as an example of how to get more of the nutrients that we need by using real food instead of supplements all the time. Okay, and we're going to run for 5 minutes. Okay, so the next one is running after a break. And for those of you who have just started running, hopefully you're not taking a break yet. But someday, if you do take a break and you want to get back into it again, this video can kind of tell you how to go about that safely and get into it without getting injured or burning out and those kinds of things. Running motivation is the next one. And we have talked about running motivation a lot over these last few weeks, and things to help keep you motivated. Also, the fact that you might not always feel motivated, and discipline is the key. Also about extrinsic, I cannot say these words, intrinsic motivations, and that intrinsic is internal motivations, and that's going to keep you running longer and for an expanded period of time than extrinsic ones. So anyway, that's all about running motivation. And I don't just talk about, well, you're not always going to have running motivation, so you got to be disciplined. I do give you some tools to help you stay motivated in that video. Different things, different tricks. My favorite trick that I use on myself all the time is to tell myself that if I'm getting up early in the morning or whatever, whenever I'm supposed to run, and I'm coming up with all kinds of excuses why I can't or why I just don't feel like it, I'll kind of say to myself, Sherry, do you think that 3:00 Sherry this afternoon is going to be happy with 7:30 a.m. Sherry if she doesn't go out for a run? And my answer is almost always no. 3:00 Sherry will not be happy with 7:30 Sherry. And I like 3 o'clock Sherry to be happy with 7:30 Sherry. So that usually is enough motivation for me to go out for a run. Maybe it'll work for you, maybe not. But that's just one of the things that I like to use and say to myself if I'm feeling a little bit like I just don't feel like it. Even though I love running and it's my job, sometimes I just don't feel like it. The next video is using a running coach and why someone might want to use a running coach who is a beginner runner. I know when I started coaching or when I started running, it didn't even dawn on me. And when I started running, I'm not even sure if a running coach is a thing. But if it was, it's certainly not something I had ever heard of. And I would have never, ever thought to use one because to me, somebody who was a running coach, taught track and field in high school or college, and it was for fast, young kids, or people who are going to be running in the Olympics. It didn't occur to me that someone like me, who had just been starting out, would be able to benefit from using a running coach. And one of the things for myself as a coach, I love helping people start to run. So I'm not going to give too much of a plug here, but I am more than willing to talk to you about becoming a running coach. You can go to my coaching page on the website and see what services I offer. The prices are right there, everything. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But it doesn't have to be me. This video talks about questions you should ask if you are wanting to hire a running coach, benefits of hiring a running coach, just kind of a generalization. It's not a commercial for me because actually when I did the video, I was only coaching in person in Buffalo. And at the time, really had no intention of doing it virtually. So I promise it's not a commercial video. So the next one on the list is a French onion soup recipe. Again, that was within the nutrition series. And it's from the book No Meat Athlete. There are actually 3, 2, 1, recover for 1 minute. These 5 minutes, you're feeling it, right? Okay. And at the end, you're really going to feel it. But back to the French onion soup. This French onion soup recipe is really good, and it's from athletes who are vegetarian. And so it actually, the little thing that floats on top, that's usually cheese. Actually, it's vegan. They use this cashew cream as a substitute. Oh my gosh. This cashew cream is so good. Like, it's great even if you're not vegan, even if you're not vegetarian. It is so, so good. And you kind of toast it on the 7, 6, 5. We're going to start to run, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Recovery allows for improved performance, permits time for our body to heal itself in preparation for the next training load, and decreases the risk of potential injury. It is important to take the proper nutrition after exercise to facilitate muscle repair and reduce soreness. The good news is that essential amino acids have been clinically proven to accelerate muscle repair faster than any protein source. I'm glad I discovered Heal by the Amino Company, which is a 100% science-backed formula and was originally formulated for astronauts to maintain muscle mass in space. Taking Heal after my training has allowed me to decrease my recovery time and cuts down on the soreness in my body. Heal is great for post-workout nutrition and has been scientifically proven to be 3 times more efficient at triggering muscle growth and repair than any other protein source. You can check out their science by visiting aminoco.com/WR30. It was created by former Harvard professor and world-renowned clinical researcher Dr. Robert Wolfe. As a competitive athlete, Dr. Wolf has completed 62 marathons in under 2 hours and 30 minutes. He has set national age group records and is still recovering his body with Heal at age 75. I'm pretty picky about any kind of supplement that I put into my body, and I do not just accept any companies that come my way to partner up. In fact, I have been the Wrinkled Runner since 2018, and this is the first time I've gone forward with anyone. I have been using Heal as a post-workout fuel source for a few months now, and it is something that I look forward to doing after my workouts. I love the chocolate flavor. As an older runner, I'm excited to have found something that will help my muscles recover more quickly. And right now you can get 30% off by using code WR30 when you visit aminoco.com/WR30. Head to the link in the show notes and you will also receive a free gift with every new purchase.
Okay, so I was talking about this French onion soup and that cashew cream that's on top of the bread that you put on, you float on the French onion soup, and how good it was. And you toast it in the broiler, and it is just really, really tasty. So if you like recipes and you like French onion soup, go ahead and give that one a try. So for those of you who are just starting to run, you may not have a watch that tracks everything. Like, I have a Garmin. A lot of runners, we have Garmins, we have Polars, we have different kinds of running watches. If you're just starting out, you're probably not dropping $400 on a running watch. Well, maybe you are. So this next video is about the Garmin watch, and it's called Garmin Faces, because for a long time I would run with my watch and be like, I wish I knew what time it was, and thinking, well, why can't I see what time it was on my watch during a run? But you actually can. I just didn't realize that there are different faces and different information that you can see. So if you ever do get a Garmin watch, or you're just interested in seeing what a Garmin watch looks like or what the information it can tell you, then you can go ahead and watch that one. Now, as you get to know running and you start to learn more about it, you may want to build a workout. And like when I'm telling you to get like an interval app so that you can put in the 5-minute run and then the 1-minute walk, 5-minute warm up, 5-minute cool down, that is a workout. And I have to build that workout, and then I send it to my watch so that it's right there. And then everything is just kind of seamless. I'm not using timers or anything like that. My watch will tell me, okay, now it's time to run. Okay, now it's time to walk. And as you get more into running and you do this kind of thing where you want to have a warm up and a cool down, and even when you get into paces and different things that go into running workouts, the Garmin can build those, and you just input some information and it sends it to the watch, so that when you're on the run, you don't have to think about it. 3, 2, 1, walk, recover for 1 minute. And so this tutorial just kind of goes over how to build a workout in that Garmin watch. So the number two video is about age grading. Now, if you've run before, you've raced before, and you're just getting back into it, then maybe you know what age grading is. It's a racing thing where they take your information when you race and they give you an quote unquote age grade. And they also tell you like what your age graded time would be. And so that I kind of use for myself for competitive, when I'm going to be in a race, looking at my age graded time and different things I can do to get that number better. Okay, run for 5 minutes. You can also use it to kind of compare yourself to different people. So even if the person on the podium is 25 and she came in first, you can look at your age graded time and see how you compare to that 25-year-old. So it kind of evens the playing field, so to speak. And it's just an interesting little metric that runners sometimes don't understand what it's about. And so you can go to that video if you're interested and look at age grading. And then, you know, after your first 5K, you can compare yourself or see how you stacked up from a more whole field level instead of just the number of where you came in. And then the number one video was the Garmin suggested run. Now, if you do ever get a Garmin and you kind of just don't know what to do every day, the Garmin will gather your data from some previous runs and it will give you a suggested run every day. It will tell you, when you wake up, okay, go out for a 50-minute run at this pace. This is what this run is for, yada, yada, yada. And you can turn that on and off because I do my own training. I don't have a suggested run, but I have used it in the past, sometimes in my off season or whatever. But this video just kind of tells you a little bit about it, shows you how to turn it on and off and how to use it if you're interested in a Garmin at some point. So one of the things I wrote down this week, because I've been telling you all along, and here we go with another silence, guys. I have had just a cold after cold after cold, and I think it's all these different grandkids I have keep getting sick, but with different things. And so I've been telling you that when you hear a silence as we're running, it's because I'm blowing my nose. And one of the weird tips that I'm going to give you with running is I carry a handkerchief, like an old-fashioned cloth handkerchief with me when I run, because I don't want to put too much TMI, but I leak like a sieve when I'm running, and it has been a godsend because, mostly tissues are so flimsy, you can use them once and then they either float away or they just break down so quickly, especially when you're out on a run, that I started using these handkerchiefs, and it has really been just awesome. So I just went on Amazon and got 10 that I just rotate through. And in the summertime, when I don't need it for the gross purpose, I use it for sweat. Just to wipe sweat off my face if I'm getting sweat in my eyes, which can really sting. So yeah, that's just a weird tip that I wrote down for this week to tell you, because I've been running with my handkerchiefs a lot lately, and I don't know, I think the world needs to know. So the other thing that I'll tell you about as you're starting to run more and more is you are going to have laundry, and you're going to have stinky laundry. And when I first started running, the laundry situation got really, really bad. And I lost a microphone. I had a spare microphone in my pocket and I've lost it. So I've had to turn around and retrace my steps. So I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted, but okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, recover. And then you just have one more 5-minute run. So the laundry situation was really bad because I didn't realize that you had to wash your sports clothes differently than your regular clothes. So things were starting to really, really stink. And I did a video, man, it's been a few years now, on how to do laundry, which I will link you to below. But I will say there are sports detergents on the market, and something about enzymes, and I don't know the whole science behind laundry, but also a big tip is to use cold water, not warm or hot water. Because run for 5 minutes. I used to think, of course, that I should use hot water because that was going to be better than, or really get it clean. I use hot water on my sheets. I use hot water on all the things that you really, really want clean. And I didn't realize that because of the fibers that are in workout clothing, you actually want to use cold water. So that's just a tip. And also wash them separately. Don't wash them with your other clothes because I use warm water with my regular clothes, but just wash them separately, keep them on their own, and hopefully you have some luck in keeping your running clothes clean and stink-free. I think I use Nathan laundry detergent that you can find at running stores or online. But some of the stuff you don't get told when you start to run. And I thought I'd share with you some of the weird side of running and give you some tips on keeping your nose clean and keeping your laundry clean as well. Oh my gosh, I found it, guys. Yes, I found it. That's one benefit of running in the snow, is you can retrace your steps really easily. Because as I'm running around, I do this in the cemetery down the street from me because it's nice and quiet, and I get lost in it. It's a really big cemetery, and so a lot of times I'm just kind of running and just following different paths and roads. But because of the snow that we had today, that I've been complaining about all day, I was able to retrace my footprints and find my mic. Okay. See what happens when you run? And I have found some weird things when I've been running. There was one day, it was the oddest thing. There was like a week where every time I ran, I would come across a tomato. Like, not just like random vegetables, but like 3 times in the same week, there'd be a tomato smashed on the ground. And still can't figure that out. But you will see some really cool, awesome, weird things as you run around. If you're someone who has spent a lot of time like in your car going from place to place and you start running a lot, it is amazing what will open up for you as far as being able to see and experience some pretty amazing and also some pretty weird things. So if you run across some fruit, or if you run across a smashed tomato, let me know, because is that a thing? But anyway, so we have about a minute and a half left, a little less than that, for your run part. How are you feeling with that? This is you've been running 5 minutes, 5 times, so for 25 minutes throughout this run, you are running. Isn't that amazing considering the first week you only ran 6 minutes? Now you're running 25. Now broken up by recovery walks, which is important. But I think it is so cool when I get people to this point and they are running for 5 minutes at a time and that their total run is 25 minutes. It can feel so good and you should feel so accomplished that you got to this point. Now, I don't want to be patronizing because I hate that more than anything, but let me just say that when you get to these points and you get to these different milestones in your running, that can help you keep going. And the knowledge that you've run so much more than you did even a few weeks ago, okay, recover for 1 minute, really can help get you out the door again and again. And I want you to do this run 3 more times this week for a total of 4. And by the time you get to next week, when we up it to 6 weeks, how much did I run for 6 weeks? For 6 minutes, you're actually going to have a 2-minute recovery. So I know last week and this week were pretty intense with only having like 1 minute recovery, but next week you will get a 2-minute recovery with the 6 minutes. So you can look forward to that and look forward to, by the end of this week, this 5-minute run, it should be feeling pretty okay, I will say. It will be feeling pretty okay. It might not feel great, but it should be easier. Okay, we are in our 5-minute cool down now. It should be easier than today's run. Now, what I want to ask you is, are you interested in signing up for a race? We talked about this the first couple of weeks, that a goal for you could be to sign up for a 5K. Now, a 5K is 3.1 miles. Look at how far you've come and the distance, and think about how far you may be in 5 weeks. Even if you can't run the whole 5K, you could absolutely, if you're this far, you can walk it. Okay, so if racing, even if it's not something that you think you want to do, I would encourage you to sign up for a 5K in the spring and kind of train towards that and just see what you think. You may like it. I mean, I am not a competitive person for the longest time. I'm somebody who I got broken my arm when I was in 9th or 10th grade. And the thing that I felt was happiness that I didn't have to take gym class for like 8 or 10 weeks, whatever that was. So I was not an athletic person at all. Competition was not something I even thought about. And if I did think about it, it was to be like, no way. Now I'm pretty competitive for my age group, and it just kind of evolved. And as I got better with running, I got better times. And so when I started winning things, this competitiveness came out, which I never would have thought would have happened. So I understand if you don't ever want to run a race, and I am certainly not saying that if you're a runner, you have to run races. There are plenty of runners that do not run races. But if it's something you've never done before, it can be a really fun experience, whether you walk it, walk it, whatever. Find a good cause, something that you believe in, find a race, and, sign up for that and see if that's something that maybe you would like to do and do more of, because, don't knock it till you try it. For next week, it's going to be the same homework-wise as all the other weeks. The dynamic stretches, strength training 2 times for 10 minutes each time, getting out there for your runs and putting together a warm-up for next week. And if you have any questions about any of it, as I've said before, you can email me at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com and ask your questions, and I will answer them for you and try and get back to you as soon as possible. So we have about a minute and 20 seconds before our cool down is over. And for the cool down, I hope that you're walking your cool down, you're cooling your body down, you're getting back into, a lower heart rate and just getting your body ready for the rest of your day, whatever that might look like for you. And just like the warm up, the cool down also has a purpose for your body. Now, next week, when you join me, I will talk a little bit more about what our live run is going to look like as more surveys come in about when is a good time for people. We'll probably week 8, I'll have a solidified date and time to say, okay, this is when our 30-minute run is going to be, that we're going to run together and get you through that 30 minutes. And it's going to feel so good to get that under your belt, your first 30-minute run. And then we'll talk a little bit more too about where we're going to go from there. Okay, workout's ended. Good job, guys. Where you can go from there as far as goal setting and different ways on how to get stronger, get better, get faster in your running, depending on what you want to do with it. Okay, so thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for listening, and you can hear me next week.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you know another runner who could benefit from today's topic, go ahead and share it. Do you have any running questions? You can ask me. Email me at sherry@wrinkledrunner.com, and if I can't answer your question, I will do the research to find the answer and share it with you. The questions I get from listeners like you help me develop episodes, so please don't be shy. You can sign up for my once-a-month newsletter using the link provided so that you can have all the Wrinkled Runner resources from the past month all in one place. I also have opened up my virtual coaching in addition to coaching one-on-one with those in the Buffalo, New York area. So head to my coaching page on the Wrinkled Runner website, which I will, of course, link to, and check out how we may be able to work together. Until next Monday, thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the run.